So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 14. King Puruvara enchanted by Urvasti. But we're not quite there at this point in the chapter. That will come later. So today I was asked to speak from verses 7, 8 and 9, which I believe someone covered yesterday. Is that true? I was told. Anyway, I was asked to speak on that. But I was also told by someone that they'd missed out the verses which they were. Huh? Was that spoken from? It was supposed to be yesterday, but it wasn't. So today's supposed to be the one that was done yesterday. It's getting complicated, isn't it? So I'll just read since we're at the beginning of the chapter, I'll read the translations through till the verses I've been asked to speak on, and then we'll speak on text 9. I think we've got the Sanskrit for that. Okay. We don't have a lot of time, actually, because we got the solar eclipse coming very soon. So, text 1. Srila Shukadev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, O king, thus far you have heard the description of the dynasty of the sun god. Now hear the most glorious and purifying description of the dynasty of the moon god. This description mentions kings like Aila, Puruvara, and of whom it is glorious to hear. Lord Vishnu, Garbhadakshayi Vishnu, is also known as Sahasrashirsha Purusha. Sahasrashirsha Purusha. From the lake of his navel sprang a lotus, on which Lord Brahma was generated. Atri, the son of Lord Brahma, was as qualified as his father. From Atri's tears of jubilation was born a son named Soma, the moon, who was full of soothing rays. Lord Brahma appointed him the director, or in other words, the deva of the Brahmanas, drugs, and luminaries. Now, we're not talking about the drugs you get in the chemist shop, but he's a deva who's in charge of the Brahmins, the drugs. That means medicinal plants. The moon, the activity of the moon energy, it nurtures the flavor in vegetables, those who work in the kitchen, and those who like enjoying prasadam. The flavor is due to the influence of the moon. So it's all medicinal plants. And also the luminaries, which is the stars. One time one lady, who is it? I believe it was Vishaka. She's Yadabar's wife. She works with film. And she once asked Srila Prabhupada, how does the moon give flavor to the vegetables? A technical question. So Srila Prabhupada replied, he said, why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask him? So rather than just be like a mental concept, which a lot of what this is concept, but it's a reality. So we have to get the blessings of the spiritual master and the blessings of Krishna to assimilate and understand this, not just the concept. So she was trying to understand, how does the moon give flavor to vegetables? So ask him. And whether he gave a response or not, that's something else. But for someone who can hear, or the intuition or the insight which comes through a meditative question. Sometimes the answers are right there in the question. You have to be insightful. It isn't just a mental concept that goes in the ear and gets assimilated by the brain. It's insight. The Bhagavatam is here to give us insight and realization on the path of spirituality. So we'll continue just reading these verses. After conquering the three worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems, Soma, the moon god, performed a great sacrifice known as Rajasuya. Because he was very much puffed up, he forcibly kidnapped Brihaspati's wife, whose name was Tara. Although requested again and again by Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, Soma did not return Tara. This was due to his false pride. Consequently, a fight ensued between the demigods and the demons. So, starting text 6. No, one more to go. Because of enmity between Brihaspati and Shukra, this is Shukracharya. Shukracharya is the Brahman, the spiritual master of the Asuras, the lower planetary system. Shukra, that's Venus. He's in charge of the Venus planet, Venus. Because of enmity between Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, and Shukra, the spiritual master of the demons, Shukra took the side of the moon god and was joined by the demons. But Lord Shiva, because of affection for the son of his spiritual master, in other words, Atri was the spiritual master of Lord Shiva. This is in the cosmic play of things. But Lord Shiva, because of his affection for the son of his spiritual master, joined the side of Brihaspati and was accompanied by all the ghosts and hobgoblins. So what a fight that must have been. Huh? You think you're going to go to heaven? There's a whole fight going on up there. So try and avoid it at all costs. It's also a very dangerous place to be, the heavenly planets. Very, very dangerous. Because any plans of austerity or any plans of practically out the window. The sages who live in those higher regions, they're very austere. Everything's on offer. Your wildest dreams, it's all on offer. What's illegal down here? What's forbidden down here? It's okay up there. But there's a price to pay. You get tangled up in it, and when all your good fortune or your good karmas run out, back down here again. It's a very unfortunate place to be because there's not much concept of suffering. You don't get aches and pains. Yeah, the demons are troublesome sometimes. Yeah. And there's politics. And there's envy. There's a lot of things going on up there. So it's not the heaven. It's not the spiritual sky. It's not the wonderful place that we think it is. Of course, compared with this, it's wonderful. It is. But not a place to go to if you want actual happiness. If you want real happiness, the heavenly regions are not the place to go. This is the place to be. Now, how is that? How is this the place to be if you want real happiness? Well, we'll come to that in a minute. Because in this place you can actually take up devotional service with real conviction. And why are we here? We're not still fully convinced, but at least we're here. Isn't it? If we were fully convinced, we'd be tasting the holy name at every moment. But it's because of our attachments, our anarthas, our reluctance, we're not actually getting full taste yet. But at least we're taking up the process to one degree or another. So that's our pathway out. So I'll read today's verses, and then we'll make some comment on Prabhupada's purport on the 9th verse. Text 7. Sarvadeva ganopeto mahendro gurumanvayat surasura vinasho bhut sangmarastara kamayaha. King Indra, accompanied by all kinds of demigods, joined the side of Brihaspati. Thus there was a great fight, destroying both demons and demigods, only for the sake of Tara, Brihaspati's wife. Nivedito tangirasa somang nirbarcha vishvakrit taram svabhartre prayachchad antaravatnim avaitpatihi. When Lord Brahma was fully informed by Angira about the entire incident, he severely chastised the moon god Soma. Thus Lord Brahma delivered Tara to her husband, who could then understand that she was pregnant. So these two verses, Indra was accompanied by all the demigods, and they joined the side of Brihaspati. This was a great fight, destroying both demons and demigods only for the sake of Tara, Brihaspati's wife. There's a famous account in the Western world of Helen of Troy. You heard of that, Helen of Troy? Is that in the Iliad? Is it the Iliad? Troy was... It's Greek, yes, it's the Greek. Right, I think it's the Iliad. And this was all considered to be myth. And Troy was considered to be a fictitious city. The cynical Western archaeologists and scientists. But lo and behold, they did find the remains of Troy. They found it. And underneath that, it was rubble. And they dug down, and underneath that was another city, and underneath that was several layers of Troy. So this city of Troy had been there for millennia, long time. Who knows how long? So Helen of Troy, she was the cause, whether her potential suitors were fighting over Helen of Troy. So this is nothing new in the world. When a man becomes enamored by a beautiful woman, all sorts of things break out. All sorts of things happen. So it's not the fault of the ladies. It's these naughty men. Okay. So it happens on, of course, when the lady when she starts to use her wiles to then she's naughty. So she's got to, it's everybody's fault, here in the material world. Here in the material world, everyone's to blame. We're all to blame. That's why we're here. We're all to blame. We've all been up to mischief. We've got a karmic past, goodness knows what. We're not pure by any means. So when Lord Brahma was fully informed by Angira about the entire incident, he severely chastised the moon god, Soma. So we're not told here in the Bhagavatam what that chastisement was. We're not told about that. It may have had repercussions on the gross level of existence. We don't know. How he was chastised, don't know. At one point he took on... The moon god is a bit of a character. No disrespect, Lord Soma. But he's in charge of the mental aspects. We say lunatic. It's someone who's affected by the phases of the moon. And it's been shown scientifically that the phases of the moon affect those who are very sensitive mentally, whether it's mental instability or sensitivity. And ladies are affected by the lunar cycles. So everything in the world, material world, has its effect. The gross things have an effect on the subtle, and the subtle things have an effect on the gross. It works both ways. Even quantum physics, it shows you, it's demonstrable. It is demonstrable that the consciousness of the observer affects the observed. The consciousness of the observer affects the observed. Quantum physics. And whether you want to see it as a particle, it will be a particle and be measurable as a particle. And if you want to see it as a what's the other? One's a particle and the other one's a wave. Yes, thank you. Who said that? Wave. That's right. Thank you. Wave or particle, and it's measurable as a wave. But it's also measurable as a particle, depending on how you expect to see it. So it actually reciprocates with your expectation, which is the material world in a nutshell. Really, according to our expectation and our intention, then the material energy reciprocates to a degree according to our desert, not just according to what you want. But on the higher levels of existence, the subtle realms, according to what you intend and desire, it's immediate. In the subtle realms of existence, then your environment and even your body reciprocates with your immediate intention. So we are fixed. This is fixed, thank goodness. Imagine if things were responding to our own intention now. We'd be all over the place. I mean, look at the mind, how the mind is this way, that way. Mercifully, we're rooted and grounded in the dense physical realm. But on the subtle realms, both your body and existence and that around you is controllable. So much so that in the realm of Brahmaloka, that Satyaloka, that realm, Brahmaloka, the Prabhupada explains that the beings there, they have control of time and space. Time and space. So thank goodness we can't control time and space. People are already fighting over so many bits and pieces here and there. It's controlling time and space, which is what these wars between the demigods and demons are going on periodically during the universal histories. These great battles between the demigods and the demons. The demons also have control of subtle energies, but their intention is control and power, whereas the devas do the control in service of the Supreme Lord. But as Prabhupada explains, that even those who are devotees who have a tinge of material desire, Prabhupada says a tinge. they have to remain in the material world. We have to remain in the material world. A tinge. So how is that facilitated? So if one's a devotee and he has a tinge of material desire, he can serve the Lord as a devotee in the higher realms. He can take the post of a deva, demigod. And this whole escapade with Soma, he's a devotee. Great, very powerful devotee. But he has a tinge of desire. And in this particular instance, he succumbed to his desire. So Tara has been attracted to him, and he's attracted to her. There's more of this history and other aspects of the Vedic literature. In the Mahabharata, there's a bit more of a expansion of this pastime. And in the Devi Purana, that's one of the Puranas for those in a mode of ignorance, these aspects, this whole interaction that's going on here is explained more. So we understand there's 18 Puranas and many sub-Puranas. But basically 18 Puranas, there's 3 Puranas for those in the mode of ignorance, 3 Puranas for those in the mode of passion, and, 6. 6 Puranas for those in the mode of ignorance, 6 Puranas for those in the mode of passion, and 6 Puranas for those in the mode of goodness. So it isn't as if things have been specially written for these different categories. But if one looks at history as a whole, one can take out things which are appealing to those in the mode of ignorance. And then one can be selective and take those things which are appealing to those in the mode of passion. And then one can select those things which are suitable to those in the mode of goodness. Just like if in every day, there's so many things happening, even in the temple, right? Temple life and the community. So some people, a bit tamasic, did you hear about this? Pull out the gossip, So this is the material world. It's what do you choose to focus on? Huh? What do you choose to focus on? And look at examine your own body. The whole body, the whole system here. What do we choose to focus on? Are we going to? Oh, jeez, no. That's one aspect of this, isn't it? No. Oh, on the other extreme, it's like, am I cutting a nice profile? No. Oh, but let's be realistic. Okay, keep the body healthy, keep it clean, and use it in the service of the Lord. So all the things that happen with the body, they're part and parcel of what happens, same in the material world. So many things happening. So because the devas are still conditioned, they do sometimes things which are an uninformed person will think, goodness me, is that really going on? Did they really do that? But in the bigger scheme of things, sometimes these apparent misdemeanors actually have a very crucial part to play in the unfoldment of the material creation. So there's another verse to read today, which is this one here. So we'll read verse number 9. Translation. Brihaspati said, "You foolish woman, your womb which was meant for me to impregnate has been impregnated by someone other than me. Immediately deliver your child. Immediately deliver it. Be assured that after the child is delivered, I shall not burn you to ashes. I know that although you are unchaste, you wanted a son. Therefore, I shall not punish you." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Tara was married to Brihaspati, and therefore, as a chaste woman, she should have been impregnated by him. But instead, she preferred to be impregnated by Soma, the moon god, and therefore she was unchaste. Although Brihaspati accepted Tara from Brahma, when he saw that she was pregnant, he wanted her to deliver a son immediately. Tara certainly very much feared her husband, and thought that she might be punished after giving birth. But thus Brihaspati assured her that he would not punish her, for although she was unchaste and had become pregnant illicitly, she wanted a son. Om Gnata Marandasya Dhananjana Salakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manabhishtang Stapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadami Amdarati Swapantika. So one may question why These accounts are here in the Bhagavatam. It's in my younger years there was I don't know if it was a book or a series or a film called Peyton Place. Anyone? Do you remember Peyton? What was it? Was it a series? Series. It was American soap, wasn't it? And all sorts of hanky-panky went on in Peyton Place, as it does in most soap operas these days. You know, people love to kind of tune into all the gossip and all the sordid details of other people's unfortunate lives. So this, it reads a bit like Peyton Place, doesn't it? No? But it's not. It looks like it superficially, and humans might want to imitate this behavior, but it's not Peyton Place. And although the Brihaspati is chastising his wife, as well he should. And although Soma appears to have run off with Tara, which it appears he shouldn't, these have a much bigger, there's far more consequential things going on here than meets the superficial eye. The child born to them was known as Buddha. And referring to some other references, speak of Buddha as being Mercury. I can't quote that categorically, it's not in Prabhupada's books, but there's a lot more, there's many more histories and aspects of these pastimes in other parts of the Vedas. But as I said before, many aspects of these pastimes aren't entered into here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is the spotless Purana. This isn't designed for people who are in the mode of ignorance, as 6 Puranas are. It's not designed for people who are in the mode of passion, as another 6 Puranas are. And nor is it designed for those in the mode of goodness, which another of the 6 Puranas are, and their sub-Puranas. The Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken as a result of Vyasadev's deep dissatisfaction, that he covered so many aspects of the material, describing and giving the wisdom and knowledge of the material nature, he was still dissatisfied. So how did he find that satisfaction? It wasn't anything to do with the combination of the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. It was he had to speak of something which was transcendental to the interaction of the 3 modes. And that was the Lord and his pastimes, the Lord and his devotees, and the process by which to serve the Lord and his devotees. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the spotless Purana. It's very different. So these different pastimes are hinted at, but why is it here anyway? Because it's in the lunar dynasty. The lunar dynasty of kings coming down from Soma. Lord Krishna is part of that lunar dynasty. Lord Ram is part of the solar dynasty. So these dynasties I won't say esoteric, they have the roots of the human races are not from the monkeys, but they're from actually Devic and of higher realms of existence. As Srila Prabhupada once said that the Chinese, their root is they're descending from Nagas. So different races have different roots, as it were, and they're coming from celestial, from higher, more subtle realms of existence. So, I've just mentioned that the son's name, he was known as, it was a son. I know I'm going to spoil the story by mentioning that, but who took custody of the child? No? That's always a battle, isn't it? Who's got custody of the child? You'll have to wait for a future Bhagavatam class to find that out. And what happened next? It has you on the edge of the seat. These are amazing pastimes. And they're not even transcendental. Not even transcendental pastimes. But these pastimes of the Devas. And the humans who interact with them as well. Because in previous ages, there would be interaction between humans and Devas. And was it Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said? Srila Prabhupada used to quote. He said, in this age, Kali Yuga, that the Devas wouldn't even come here to urinate. Huh? I mean, imagine you're bursting to, you're really, you know how it is sometimes. So, we find it easy as gentlemen. We can find a tree or a hedge. Ladies have it more difficult. But, but the point is this. The point I'm making here is that imagine a place that you would not even urinate in. Is there such a place? Can you conceive of a place that you wouldn't urinate in? Huh? So in Kali Yuga, the devas would not even come here to urinate. That's the state of this place in Kali Yuga. And yet, Prabhupada explained they're queuing up to take birth. Why would you want to take birth in a place that you would not even urinate in? How is that? Because this is the most auspicious age. It's worse than a urinal, and yet it's the most auspicious. What a weird, strange contradiction. Why? Why is this the most auspicious? Come on. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Anything else? Harinam? Yeah. Srila Prabhupada? Anything else? We don't need anything else, do we? We've got Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have Srila Prabhupada delivering the holy name. This is why. The most auspicious. One short lifetime. I mean, how long is a lifetime for us? Maximum 100. Some people, a little bit more. 100, 110, 120. Very unlikely, but it does happen. But say 100 years. Maximum, really, generally speaking. So what's 100 years in the life of a deva? It's less than a minute. So imagine being able to go back to Godhead in less than a minute. Oh, yeah. Let us take birth. Let us assist the Lord in His pastimes. Well, how can we assist the Lord in His pastimes if the Lord has disappeared? Well, the 10,000 year period of Lord Chaitanya's mission this is it. It's Lord Chaitanya's hidden pastimes. Prabhupada says in one of his purports in the Bhagavatam that the Sunday feast program, chanting, dancing, feasting, philosophy, this increases the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya. It increases the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya. Just as the book distribution increases the ecstasy of Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara and Lord Chaitanya. Just as the Kirtan increases the ecstasy of the Lord and the Parampara. So it's a very reciprocal time. This 10,000 year period, a wonderful opportunity when the most fallen people, like ourselves, have an opportunity to actually please the Guru Parampara and the Lord. In a very simple process. It's so simple. We find it difficult or complicated, but it's very simple. Chanting, dancing, feasting, philosophy. And facilitating this chanting, dancing, feasting, and philosophy. And preaching this chanting, dancing, feasting, and philosophy. We had a discussion the other night in Rickmansworth. We were in the earlier canto of the Bhagavatam, the second canto, describing the incarnation of Lord Rishabhdev. We came to the conclusion it wouldn't be a very easy process to preach. I mean, he was like a stone. Oh, what's the name of that yoga? It means a stone. It means to be practically inert, just totally not responding to any input from the world around. You become inert like a stone. You're basically dead to the world. So much so that Lord Rishabhadev, he would even lie down in his own excrement, screw. Yet which is a horrible thing to do. But Prabhupada said, explained that actually the aroma of Lord Rishabhadev's waste products could be smelt 80 miles away, and it smelt like roses. Roses. He was such an exalted devotee. Everything about him was, but we couldn't preach that, and nor is it possible in this age. But the chanting of holy names, anyone can chant. And everybody does chant. Oh, not those Hare Krishnas again. Please. Huh? Those damn Hare Krishnas. Whatever. Oh, it's the Hare Krishnas. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Everyone's chanting Hare Krishna. And though it might not be pure, Lord Chaitanya hears that Hare Krishna. He's chanting Hare Krishna. Give him an opportunity to chant Hare Krishna again. So these are the seeds of devotional service. Prabhupada used to say with the books, even if they read one word, The seed is sown. There's no escaping the unique loving network of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this chanting of the holy name is so auspicious, even the age of Kali. Even in the age of Kali, when things are so degraded, by the chanting of the holy name, this inauspiciousness can be turned around. And so too today. A very inauspicious day. A solar eclipse is very inauspicious. Why do we have breakfast early? Just the shadow, just that shadow, which is more to the shadow than modern science would have us believe. That shadow realm is actually the realm of Rahu. That's the head of Rahu, shadow. He lives in shadow. So that's the solar eclipse. When there's a lunar eclipse, when the shadow of the sun, when the shadow of the earth falls across the moon, that's Ketu. And that is also inauspicious. So we see the sun, the moon, and the shadow, and we see this gross physical manifestations. But as we said before, there's a lot more going on than we can perceive with our physical vision. Behind every physical manifestation, there's so much administration and so many arrangements being made. So long ago, after the churning of the milk ocean, when the pot of nectar was brought from the milk ocean by Dhanvantari, the demigods and demons who'd been using the Naga serpent, Vasuki, they'd been churning the milk ocean. And many things came from the ocean. But one was the pot of nectar, Amrit. And this Amrit would make one immortal. Well, that was the sales line, of course, but nothing is immortal in the material world. But one could say it prolonged one's life. So the demons wanted this, and the devas wanted this. So there was a big fight going on, and the demons managed to snatch the pot of nectar from the devas. And then they began quarreling among themselves who would drink it. This is the nature of demons, it's about prowess, and I'm the most. So they were quarreling. So then, the devas were very, very concerned. If the demons, if the asuras get this nectar and drink it, then we are finished. So the Lord appeared as Mohini, the Mohini Murti, the gorgeous, beautiful incarnation of the Lord who appeared as a woman. She's described briefly in the Bhagavatam. She was very alluring. In fact, she was so beautiful and so alluring that Lord Shiva was chasing after her. He lost his austerity, he lost his detachment. Lord Shiva is noted for his complete detachment from the material world. But he was caught up. He was chasing after her, and she was running away. And what to speak of the demons? They were totally smitten. So she said, in her feminine charms, she said, "You give me the pot of nectar, and I'll distribute it to who I think fit." A very flattering thing to say. So it's going to be me, isn't it? Huh? So they handed over the pot of nectar, all waiting expectantly with, smiles on their faces and trying to catch her eye. And she gives it to the devas. Whoa! They've been cheated. However, there were two there amongst them who had presence of mind. No, there was one. Sorry, one. And he sat there amongst the devas and kind of disguised, although he was Sura. And he managed to get a sip of this nectar before the devas realized what had happened. Then he had his head cut off, didn't he? Who was it? Was that? It was Lord Vishnu did that. Mohini. With a discus, with a chakra. Because she was Vishnu, because she was the Lord.
Because the nectar was flowing down.
Yeah.
So any further, he would get more and more.
Yes, yeah. Cut off his head. So the head became Rahu, and the tail became Ketu. So the demons are characterized by their shady dealings. They live, their realm is shadow, darkness. So this darkness which passes over the planet during the time when what we see as an eclipse, according to the Vedic insights, the Vedic deeper understanding is actually the presence of Rahu is there, which is very inauspicious. So we don't eat, we cover our food. It's recommended we draw the curtains, stay in the house. The Astronomical Society has a whole party. They advertise. They advertise these little soirees up and down the country. Oh, let's have canapes and drink our wine, and let's put our sunglasses on. But no, it's actually inauspicious. It's quite spectacular. It's very weird, very strange. The light gets reddish. It's a very eerie time. And here in UK, we have a 98% eclipse, which is pretty, almost there. Not 100%, 98%. It's very dark. I'm not going to see it. I don't know if you want to go and sightsee. But we're going to have kirtan here we should have started 20 minutes ago, strictly speaking. But yes. Anyway, if one or two of you can chant japa in the background quietly, we'll all be okay. So any of you feel you want to protect the gathering, you can put your hand in your bead bag and softly chant japa. Seriously. Yeah. Is no one chanting japa yet? So this is an example of a very inauspicious thing being transformed into something auspicious. Just like the material energy is inauspicious unless it's used in the service of the Lord. Or conversely, an auspicious thing can be transformed into something inauspicious, depending on how we use it. So in a sense, the material energy, it's a bit like quantum physics. It's how you use it. In itself, it's neither one way nor another. It's neutral. Neutral. Money is neutral. How will you use it? For something auspicious or inauspicious? A microphone is neutral. Am I going to sing I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones? Or am I going to sing the Hare Krishna mantra? So everything's neutral in the material world. Even to the point that the soul there's one state of being that the soul can be in where he's totally neutral. Huh? What state will that be? Huh? Brahmajyoti, yeah. Even the soul, that aspect of neutrality is there for the soul when he's in the Brahman. He's neutral. He's not in the spiritual, he's not in the material. He's neutral. But it's a very dangerous place to be, because he's in a state of neutrality. He wants that neutral position. He has no chance to hear the holy name. He has no chance to hear the Lord's pastimes. He has no chance to engage in service. He has no chance to associate with devotees. And that's why the Sri Upanishad described it as the darkest region of ignorance. The darkest region of ignorance. How can that be? The Brahmajyoti is full of light. Because there's no mention of the Lord. There's no opportunity for devotional service. There's no chance to hear the saintly persons. In that sense, the material world is more auspicious than Brahman, because you have the opportunity to hear about the pastimes of the Lord and engage in service, if that's your inclination. And if it's not, then it's very inauspicious. Very inauspicious. So if you want to go on an astronomical sightseeing party and see the eclipse, that's inauspicious. And if you want to engage in kirtan during the time of the eclipse, that's very auspicious. You could say, in one sense, and this is me saying this, that Rahu is actually blessed because the Lord Chaitanya appeared during the eclipse. Lord Chaitanya appeared during a solar eclipse, and the whole of India was chanting Hari Hari. They were bathing in the holy rivers and chanting the holy name. And that was the inauguration of Lord. Even at his very birth, the chanting of the holy name was going on a massive scale. And it will be even greater as time goes by. Now the holy name is spread all over the planet. Srila Prabhupada made the holy name a household word. Household word. And that's continuing. Places that never been touched by Srila Prabhupada's books have now, as devotees, China, Russia. I mean, some of you are from places that until a few years ago was a very inauspicious place. But the holy name makes it auspicious. It makes it auspicious. I was going to read this is a very nice compilation of quotes about chanting. I think it's available in the shop from time to time. It's by no means complete. I mean, to be complete, probably have to be 3 or 4 volumes. And this is just from Srila Prabhupada's writings. There's a couple of quotes here which I thought were relevant. I'll just read these quotes. If the surface of the globe is overflooded with the chanting of the holy name, that's the title here. This is from Srila Prabhupada's purport, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 24, verse 10. Prabhupada says, the Krishna consciousness movement has started performing Sankirtan Yagya in different places. And it has been experienced that wherever Sankirtan Yagya is performed, many thousands of people gather and take part in it. Imperceptible auspiciousness achieved in this connection should be continued all over the world. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement should perform Sankirtan Yagyas one after another, so much that all the people of the world will either jokingly or seriously chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And thus they will derive the benefit of cleansing the heart. The holy name of the Lord, Hare Nama, is so powerful that whether it is chanted jokingly or seriously, the effect of vibrating this transcendental sound will be equally distributed. It is not possible at the present moment to perform repeated yajnas as Maharaj Barhishat performed. That's the reference in the Bhagavatam here. But it is within our means to perform the Sankirtan Yagya, which does not cost anything. One can sit down anywhere and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If the surface of the globe is overflooded with the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, the people of the world will be very, very happy. Another quote, Prabhupada's purport about Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, verse 22. Only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instructions from scriptures, can save the common man from the hellish cinema attractions and rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home, he should go to another's temple where all the above performances are regularly executed. Oh, this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. These are the words of the Kazi when he tried to stop the Harinam. No one should perform Sankirtan on the streets of the city. Today I am excusing the offence and returning home. So Srila Prabhupada says in his purport. Such orders stopping Sankirtan in the streets of the world's great cities have been imposed upon members of the Hare Krishna movement. We have hundreds of centres all over the world, and we have been specifically persecuted in Australia. Prabhupada doesn't mention London. This was back in the 70s. In most cities of the Western world, we have been arrested many times by the police, but we nevertheless are executing the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting on the streets of all the important cities, such as New York, London, Chicago, Sydney, Melbourne, Paris, Hamburg. We must remember that such incidents took place in the past 500 years ago, and the fact that they are still going on indicates that our Sankirtan movement is really authorized. For if Sankirtan were an insignificant material affair, demons would not object to it. The demons of the time tried to obstruct the Sankirtan movement started by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similar demons are trying to obstruct the Sankirtan movement we are executing all over the world. And this proves that our Sankirtan movement is still pure and genuine, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 17,127. So if you get arrested for Harinam or distributing books, just know. It just proves that you're doing it right. Of course, even better if we get the approval of the authorities. That's even better. I was telling someone, a couple of police officers down in Piccadilly, Leicester Square, a couple of weeks ago. There's quite a few police dotted around, kind of community police down the West End, especially Saturday nights. And I went up to one couple of police officers. I said, how is it? You must be cold this time, standing around all night. He said, we got our long johns, our this and that. We had a nice little chat, I said, we had a bit of a chat. And I said, many times I used to get arrested here, arrested in London for chanting. They said, no, what for? I said, I got arrested for obstruction, obstruction. I mean, technically speaking, if I'm standing here, it's obstruction. Well, that's what they used to say. They said, oh, no, we wouldn't do that, We like you guys, It was a nice chat. Very nice. So radical shift in policy. For the moment, never be complacent. Ever. Never be complacent. It can change it any minute. Of course, it doesn't happen like that usually. It's, it goes in waves. China, who would have thought devotees in China? How many devotees in China now? Any? I don't know. I'm asking you. You're on the grapevine. Any numbers? 300 or 400. And they go to the Mayapur festival. There's many Chinese come. Yeah. Russia, 5,000 initiated devotees. All the Baltic states and the Eastern Europe. It's taking off. Africa. So going on and on and on. So this is very auspicious. Very auspicious. And at some point, the Devas will start taking birth. Whether we see that, we don't know. But the future is very, very bright. So, according to the Lord's plan, when the conditions are right, then some empowered personalities take birth to spread the Krishna consciousness movement in a particular way. Srila Prabhupada was right on the prow, like an icebreaker. An icebreaker. That front of the ship takes the full force of all that ice. So Prabhupada is right at the front of that ship. Right at the front. Taking on the full force of the Kali Yuga. Prabhupada said, we're against everyone. And it means he's challenging everything and everyone. All the assumptions of the material world. Prabhupada's challenging it and backing up his challenge with Shastra and his complete faith in the order of his Guru Maharaj and the mission of Lord Chaitanya. And following in his footsteps is everybody else. Everybody else. We cannot minimize Srila Prabhupada or his contribution. And we cannot minimize Srila Prabhupada and his mercy. If we do, we're doomed. If we minimize Srila Prabhupada and his mercy, we are finished. We may make a show for a few years, dressed as devotees and doing whatever we do. You're finished. That's why it is so important that before we perform kirtan, we chant Srila Prabhupada's pranams in humility and gratitude, not some ritual. In gratitude and humility, we chant Prabhupada's pranams. And then we pray to Lord Chaitanya, please forgive my offenses as I chant the holy name as a service. As a service. It's a service. It isn't a platform for my self-aggrandizement. It's not a platform to show off. It's not a platform for some political maneuverings or to get the approval of a body of this or that. No, it's a service, like anything. It's like cleaning the toilets. Chanting the holy name is like cleaning the toilets. How can that be? Because our heart is like a toilet. As we said before, Kali Yuga, the Devas would not even come here to pass urine. So that's ourselves. We need to cleanse the heart. And we do that with chanting the holy name, with the right attitude. That's why the 10 offenses are listed, to avoid those contaminations which prevent us from chanting purely. And then we'll get a taste. I can't take a taste. The taste is a gift. It's a gift. It's mercy. So how do we pray for mercy? We pray to Srila Prabhupada, chanting his mantras, and we pray to Lord Chaitanya, and then we chant the holy name. And that can't be emphasized enough. A few years ago, I went traveling with the Scottish devotees, traveling books up in the north, and this topic came up. We were discussing it, and I was recommending. They had some kirtan yagyas, big 12-hour, also 12-hour kirtan yagya up north, and also some yoga groups that they were chanting with. And one devotee up there, what's his name? Raghunath Bhatta. He said, yeah, we had a meeting at the yoga group, and we were doing kirtan for an hour or so. He said, but we chanted chanted Prabhupada's pranams and the Panchatattva mantra, as you were saying. And he said the difference was unbelievable. He said the energy just went up through the roof. He said the people there couldn't understand, they couldn't believe the effect it was having. Because the yoga people were chanting some of their mantras, different, they have their kirtans, they may even chant Hare Krishna. But without the blessings of the parampara, without the blessings of Lord Chaitanya, we can't chant Hare Krishna. We can't chant Nam Prabhu. We don't have the access. People may chant Hare Krishna in derision. It's a beginning. But for those who are on the path of Krishna consciousness, we have to pray for the mercy of the Lord and His representative. So, getting a bit late, and the eclipse is well underway. So, an inauspicious day, but also a very auspicious time. So I think we're going to have some glorification of the holy name, have some kirtan. I don't know who can stay, but it'd be very nice to chant together. Any quick questions?